रिया लाइव है अभी ना, ठीक है?
ओके मैम।
हाँ ठीक।
क्या या तो इधर और अंदर का कोई सामान है ना पाया ना चाहिए, पाया ना चाहिए। पापा उनमें से मैं लीड दो, आदमी आ जाए ना कल का।
दवा तो बैठ पिया।
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible to all of you?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So shall we start now?
Sir, please wait a minute.
यस सर।
Okay.
हेलो, हाँ नेहा, हम लोग थोड़ा वेट कर लें अभी।
जैसा कहे मैम।
हाँ नेहा, 5 मिनट हम लोग वेट कर लें थोड़ा सा।
ओके ओके मैम।
अच्छा, निशी निशी डॉक्टर अनिल कश्यप को होस्ट बना दो।
Shall we start, ma'am?
यस हाँ नेहा, हम लोग स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं।
Very good afternoon to our esteemed guest, Dr. Anil Kashyap, faculty members and dear students. I, Neha Rai, Department of Sociology, on the behalf of IIC SS Khanna Girls Degree College, welcome you all to today's lecture on process of innovation, development and technology readiness level. Dr. Kashyap is the Assistant Professor in Department of Business Management, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, Sagar University, MP. Prior to this, he was Assistant Professor at National Institute of Fashion Technology. He has 11 years of research experience in which he guided 44 MBA project and 34 BBA project. He has several publication and international and national journals. Welcome, sir. Now I would like to invite our Vice Principal, Dr. Nirja Sajdev, to formally welcome our guest, Dr. Anil Kashyap. Welcome, ma'am.
A very good afternoon to all of you. It is a matter of pride and privilege. Hello.
Sorry, participants are requested to kindly mute themselves. Yep, carry on, ma'am.
Once again, a very good afternoon to all of you. It is a matter of pride and privilege for me to be here to welcome our chief expert in this particular field of innovation, development and technology, because Dr. Anna, I warmly and heartily welcome you, Dr. Anil Kashyap, who's the Assistant Professor, Department of Business Management, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, Central University, Sagar, MP. We are very, very glad to have you here. And it is being the Vice Principal of the college, it's a matter of privilege for me to be here with you, to listen to your innovative thoughts, as well as all the details about the process of development and the process of innovation in this field of the topic, which is process of innovation, development and technology, readiness level and commercialization of lab technologies and tech transfer. I welcome our principal, Dr. Lalima Singh, who is not here with us, but she is the backbone of all the IISc meetings and of all the IISc programs. She's the director of the IISc. I welcome Dr. Manjari Shukla, who's the Vice President of ISE. I welcome Dr. Meenu Agarwal, who is the coordinator. And I welcome Dr. Anuradha Singh, who is the convener of the program. And at the same time, I welcome all the team members who are, their entrepreneurship is the really due to the hard work that they put in order to perform these activities. And from then and again, they keep on organizing such programs and such lectures from renowned scholars for the benefit of the students and for the benefit of the faculty members also. I heartily and warmly welcome all the team members. At the same time, no less, I would also like to welcome all the dear participants, the students who are here to listen to Dr. Anil Kashyap. Now, this topic is very interesting. And when you take technology and mix it with art, you always come up with something innovative, isn't it? And that is our field. And as Bill Gates has forever said, that never before in history has innovation offered promise to so much, to so many, in so short a time. That is absolutely, you can say, an awesome thing. And hats off to Bill Gates and hats off to all the entrepreneurs and the innovators who are there for the progress of this particular field and who are making or putting their efforts in the readiness level as well as in the development of the technology. So now, once again, a warm welcome to all of you, sir. And I invite you, Dr. Anil Kashyap, for the lecture. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
First of all, I will say thanks to Professor Lalima Singh, the principal of the college. I was hearing Vice Principal ma'am, and then Neha, she introduced me. So, and yes, Vinita ma'am, she contacted me and then she approached me to deliver this lecture. I'm very much thankful to all the faculty members, the IIC members, and all the students that they are here. Even though on Saturday, I usually don't take classes, but because Vinita ma'am scheduled this session on Saturday, I'm happy that today I'm delivering this lecture in the online mode. And I'm very happy to share my thoughts. So before we share, I'm just going to share the slides. Ma'am, I am sharing two screens. Hello. So please,
You are audible.
Yeah, yes, no, please make the other account also make it host. Otherwise, I'm not able to share the screen.
Sir, other
Okay.
account name?
Hello.
Oh, just 1 minute.
I have to share the
Yes,
slides.
sir. Another device is Anil by the name of Anil Kumar Kashyap, na, sir?
Yes, both the device.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we are trying, please.
Okay.
सर अभी आपको दोनों में को-होस्ट हमने ऐड कर दिया है.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm active on two devices. The one is Anil Kumar Kashyap, the another one is Anil Kashyap. So on this computer, I'm trying to share my slide, but it is saying that host disabled participants screen sharing. I mean, you have to enable me on both the device.
Yes, so we are looking into it. Please give us a moment. Sir, it's done now.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, shall we start now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, I will say thanks to all the faculty members, the IIC members, that they have chosen this topic, the very important topic in today's scenario. So before I move further, I will share the quote, as the Vice Principal Madam has shared a quote from Bill Gates. I am sharing from Julia Gillard. I hope you all are familiar with Julia Gillard. She's the former Prime Minister of Australia, and she talks about the innovations and competitiveness and said that our future growth relies on competitiveness and innovations, skills and productivity, and these in turns rely on the education of our people. And if you remember that our Prime Minister Modi ji is also saying the same thing from the last 7-8 years. Before that also, the government is highlighting the importance of innovation, competitiveness, skill development, and productivity in terms of the higher education institutions are concerned. So innovation is now in the mainstream. But now, if we move further, we will see that where we stand in terms of innovation development, because everywhere in each country, in each nations, the people are talking about the innovation development processes and what are the technology innovations. And there are certain things, like especially if we see in terms of the sustainability, which is the prime focus of UN. So they are saying that by using the innovations and by using the different technology, we can achieve the sustainable development goals. So there are certain other goals, like for example, the economic goals. If we want to be a 5 trillion economy, we need more and more innovation. So if we assess that how, or if we evaluate how India is performing in terms of innovation, then we see the list is here. India ranks 46th among 132 economies featured in the GII 2021 index, that is a global innovation index. B stands at 46. And what about our enemies and friends? So it's Switzerland. Even in 2020 it was number 1. Even today in 2021 they are at number 1 positions. Now if we talk about the other nations, these are the developed nations, or we can say they are they are more advanced. They have the smart education system, they have their higher education system, and the research infrastructure is good as compared to India. But we are actually comparing, every time we compare ourselves or our country with China, so we see even the China is performing well. So it in 2020 it was on 14th, in 2021 it is on 12th. So this is the situation is, we can say it is not that much good, and we have to work on it. But the things is not over here. We see that we are also doing good. We are like a tortoise, slow but steady. So dhime, we are also trying to improve our ranks. But if we see the entire scenario in terms of the entire world, Northern America and Europe, they are continuing leading in terms of global innovations. And as far as the region is concerned, Southeast Asia, East Asia, and Oceania, they are the countries which have done very well in the past decades. And China is basically under in the top 30 economy, and it is the only country which is being ranked under the middle income economy. So China, in terms of middle income economy, China is the only nation which comes under top 30. But the situation here is good. that beyond China, the emerging economy like the like China, sorry, like India and Turkey, Vietnam, and the Philippines, they are doing good. And in terms of the potential, these nations have potential. So we have potential, but we currently are not doing. But our speed or our pace or our growth is good. So there are certain lines, the good lines, or we can say the best part of India's scenario in terms of global, in terms of innovations. So we can say in terms of ICT services exports, India is leading because we export large number of softwares. Our software companies are world's most admired software companies, including the TCS, the Wipro, the Infosys. We have large number of software companies which are exporting good qualities of software and offering the software consultancy. So in terms of ICT, we are doing well. Even in terms of pharmacy, we are doing. But in terms of pharmacy, we don't have innovation. We don't have a patent. But we are actually producing, or we are actually manufacturing the vaccines, the medicines. So even though we are exporting, we are not getting that much benefit because we don't have the patent for the technology. So we are actually working on the basis of license. Some company from the Europe, they are giving us the license to manufacture the pharmacy or the medicine, and we are exporting, and then we are generating some revenue. But there are also a good picture that Bengaluru, Delhi, Mumbai, these three comes under the top 100 science and technology clusters. So things are improving, and our these three cities are doing well in terms of world's top 100 cities for science and technologies development. Now, if we see the entire scenario, the world scenario, India comes under this Central and Southern Asia part, and we are in this particular region, we are ranked as number 1, India, and then Iran and Kazakhstan. So even though in our regions we are doing well, but in terms of the global scenario, we are not doing that much good. But we are trying, our government is trying, our educational institutions are trying to do good. So before we move further, we will see that how we can improve the situation. And then this is the statement by the professor, Professor Soumitra Datta. He's a professor of management at Cornell University, and he said about the emerging economy, especially in Indian context. And he said that among other things, have been able to successfully complement their domestic innovations with international technology transfer, technology dynamic services that can be traded internationally, and ultimately have saved more balanced innovation system. So what is this actually? If we are focusing on more and more on innovations, we will be able to generate more revenue, more dollars, more other, I mean the currency from the other nations, because we can then export more and more products. So एक simple picture अगर हम देखें entire scenario में, so India have large on a daily basis, we read in the newspaper that India is crossing its foreign reserve. We have that much of amount, and every year our foreign reserve is increasing. But if in real terms, we are actually not growing, because whatever foreign reserves we are currently we are obtaining is because we have a large market. We have more than 140 crore populations, and the foreign companies, they have the technological advancement. They are selling their products to our country, and then we are using these products. And if they are and if they are doing their business in India, they have to pay some kind of taxes and some kind of duties. And then by in terms of revenue, government is charging these duties and taxes. And this is what our foreign reserve is all about. We are not exporting the technologies. We don't have the patent. We don't have that kind of ecosystem through which we can generate more and more revenue in terms of technological transfer, in terms of the filing the patent, and we can producing more and more advanced products like the robotics, or the artificial intelligence based products like the crop protection products like the drones. So we have a very poor kind of infrastructure in terms of developing technology. That is why government is trying to inculcate the innovative and technological development skills among all the higher education institutions, and they are trying students to sensitize, students to motivate to do some innovative work and to do some technology. But the question is how it will work. So before we move further, we will see a data. You all know that if you have a technology and if you really want to protect it, you have to file a patent. But when we see that the picture in terms of patent filing, This is the data I have taken from the World Intellectual Property Organization, and I hope you all are aware about the IPR thing, that is intellectual property rights. So if you have developed a technology, then you have to take a patent. So if we see this data, this is showing that only 37,880 patent has been filed by the Indian or the non-residential Indians. I mean the Indians, those who are residing in India, or I mean if there is an Indian working somewhere else or residing somewhere else, but he has filed his patent as an Indian citizen. So these are the 37,880 patent has been filed, and these patent has been filed, and number of patents granted are around 4,000. And this is the bust situation, that we are actually not developing the technology, we are not actually filing for the patent. So if you sometime we file the patent, it has been rejected because it is basically a imitate of some project, some patent filed by some other country, some other researcher from the other part of the world. So the situation is very, very poor, because if we compare this with other country, we will see that overall if the entire world situation is there, then the top countries are China, and then US, then Japan, then Republic of Korea, and then European Union. So these are the top nations which are developing the technology, or the people of these nations, they are developing more and more. Their focus is more and more on innovation and technology development. So these are the top nations. So if we are not filing the patent, that means we are not working properly in terms of developing technology. So if we move further in terms of the emerging technology, for example, if we are saying that we will develop a drone, or we are saying that nowadays artificial intelligence, cloud computing, robotics, computer vision, all these are the emerging technology, and everybody is saying in the future you will see that humans and some of the tasks which are currently being done by the humans will be replaced by the robots. So these are the future generation technology, and every work is basically surrounded by these technology, like the digital communication, electronic machinery and apparatus, and energy like the green energy, the electronic vehicle and the equipments required to operate the electronic vehicles, the human less cars, and the technology, I mean in medical technology, in terms of the medical equipments. Like yesterday I was talking about one of my friend, and he was saying that in next couple of years you will find that the complex surgery will be conducted by the robots. So where we are not even in any of the technology, we don't even rank as a third ranks. So the most of these countries which I have told you in the previous slides, like China, US, Japan, Germany, Republic Korea, they are dominating in terms of developing these technology which are emerging technology or the future generation technology. So currently the situation is very much poor. We actually, whatever technology or whatever patent we are being filed are either from the agriculture field, or some from the software side, software technology side, very less from the agriculture sides. Now if we see in terms of the educational institutions, then there is a slide. This is a recent data, and we are seeing that the collective IITs, I mean all number of IITs, they have been filed number of patents. The large number of patents are being filed in terms of the institution, the educational institution. Then IIT ranks number 1, and then number 2 is Chandigarh University, and then Sulini University, MIT University. All these are the private university. And frankly speaking, whatever the patent has been filed by these private universities, they cannot be commercialized, they cannot be developed as a prototype, because I have gone through the data and I found that these are a very early stage technology. So even though they have received the patent, but this is just a number, it is not the real technology. Yes, IIT has definitely, they have filed the patent for very innovative technology, and the technology, the patent granted for the IITs can be converted as a prototype and as an actual product. So the rest of the things, I mean most of these universities are the private universities. So there are two things. First, we can say yes, private universities are doing well, and that's why students are nowadays moving to the private university even though they are charging higher fees. And government is trying to inculcate these patent filing process or the research development process in government universities, and they are trying to promote, they are trying to strengthen our infrastructure in terms of we can file more and more patent every year, we can develop more technology. But the picture is saying the clear fact that except the IIT, rest of these institutions are either the private institutions or one institution like this IISc Bangalore. This is on the rank 8th. This is an public institutions. Now, if we talk about the corporates, that the technology is not being developed by the educational institution or the research institution. This is also being developed by the corporates. So here in terms of corporate, I already told you that whatever patent we are filing are either from the software side or some are from the agriculture side. So the initial two companies, the Tata and the Wipro, both are the software consultancy organization, and they are basically developing more, they are basically filing more and more patent. So that means even in the corporate, our Indian companies are not filing or are not doing much work on research and development and filing more and more patent. So that is why we have to sensitize our students, we have to sensitize the environment, we have to learn that how more and more technology can be formulated so that we can reach on in top 10 countries in terms of filing the patent, in terms of getting the technological advancement. So that is the scenario which I'm seeing, which you all have experienced. I mean, in terms of the newspaper readings or in terms of government's announcement, in terms of your classrooms discussion, that the scenario in terms of the innovation and technology development, we are not doing that much that good, which we have to do. And then government is expecting more from us, especially from the institutions which are working in the higher education domain. So for that, I have divided this topic in four different objectives. The first objective is the innovation development process. The second objective is technology readiness level, what it is and how we have to develop technology so that we can commercialize it and we can produce a prototype or a product which can improve the life of our citizen. And then the commercialization of lab technology. Suppose you are working in a lab and most of you have are visiting your labs, or sometime your lab is that much that advanced that you can develop a prototype or a product, or you can test it a product. There are certain chemicals like the biofertilizers and the nano fertilizer. So everything is these things are happening in our lab, in our university's lab, or sometime in CSIR lab. So how these lab technology can be converted in a commercial product, and then what is the current status of all these three. Okay, so I will move further. So what is this process of innovations? So the process of innovation is basically, this cannot be uniformly defined, and there is no one definition that I can say this is the process of innovation. But yes, the different people have different opinion, and if you will go through the literature, you will find that every individual is defining the process of innovation in a different manner. But there are certain basic things which are very common, like if, for in terms of the technology or the innovation is being developed at a corporate level, then there are three ways. Like first is the cognitive ways, like how firms generate and maintain, they know how to conduct their tasks. Means cognitive simply means that by thinking, by analyzing, decision making, all these things. So each firm actually do the business, and they to do business, they need products. I mean, they are selling some products. So to sell their products, they sometimes adopt some new way, and that is also a kind of innovation. Doing, I mean, to sell a product, they are even if they are adopting a new way to sell a product, that is also a kind of innovation. For example, if you see that there is a site called this I mean Lenskart, and they are saying by using the computer vision and the robotics, they will screen your face and then they will suggest you sunglasses. So this is basically a new way to attract customers towards the Lenskart, and this is a kind of innovation. So this is how the cognitive innovations works. So the next is organizational, is basically how firms do things internally or together with other organizations. I mean, if sometime firms want to enhance its product line, they want to launch a new product, and sometimes they collaborate with other firms also to develop a product. For example, recently we are seeing that there is a scenario that the government is also saying that due to some, the extreme pressure of the environmental protections, the electric vehicle is now in trends. So there are research and development is being done together by the organization. For example, Tata is launching some electric vehicles, and they are collaborating with other organizations. Those who are advanced. For example, Tesla is also trying to enter in Indian market, and if Tesla their products is costly. They have the car ranging from 27 lakh to 1 crore, and Indian customers, most of the Indian customers cannot afford that costly car. So for that also they can do that. We will share the technology in terms of the electric vehicles, especially the battery part we will take care, and the body part you can take care. So this collaboration, with this collaboration they can come out with the innovative products. That is the organizational kind of things. Now if we talk about the third one, that is economic. So this is basically a new market kind of, if you are if you will experience, or if you have experience in your life in terms of the emerging economies, or in terms of LP, that is low price edition, you are seeing that the books, especially if you are buying a books from a international publications, the Wiley book or the Springer book. So these books are basically designed in terms of different economy. For example, the same books edition, if it is being sold in USA, United States or Europe, the books will be in a different kind of format. But in terms of in India, they will make it in a some kind of inferior quality, and then they will say it is a low price edition, that is LP. So basically what they did, they basically targeting a different market, and for the different market they have a different product, and that is how they innovate a low price edition, or we can say the inferior quality editions. But it is basically a kind of innovation. So sometimes this innovation is basically done on the basis of market orientation. So in terms of different dimension, we can say the innovation can come in the different forms. Like for example, in agriculture we are saying that the technology or the innovation are coming in the form of the nano pesticides, nano fertilizers. Or if we see that in the energy part, we are seeing that there is a kind of innovation, more and more innovation are coming in the form of green energy. So how we can be less dependent on fossil fuels. That is how it is evolving. So there are different kind of innovation process in different sector and different field of knowledge. In terms of size of we know that startups, because they are tech based organizations, they are doing well in terms of the innovations and technology development. But also we have a small organization called MSMEs, that small medium enterprises, and they don't have that capacity to innovate products. So what is happening, the most of the large corporations, they invest in innovation and technology development, and they have their own R&D unit. But MSMEs don't have that kind of infrastructure. But if we talk about the startup, they are small in nature but technologically backed up. So they are actually innovating product. That is why our Prime Minister is saying that more and more startups will grow our economy. Now if we see the type of innovation, yes, at what scale you are innovating, and what kind of products you are innovating, what is the historical period of that particular technology, in past, whether it was successful, or you are redeveloping it, or you are coming with a new concept. So the technology is old but it is in a new pack, kind of things happening in terms of innovation development. Now we move further. The innovation process is simply the exploration and exploitation of opportunity. So I told you in the initial slides that in the entire world, we are focusing more and more on SDG, that is sustainable development goals. And all the member countries of UN, they have signed an agreement that by the end of 2025 we will achieve that level of we will reduce the carbon emission and the carbon footprints. So for that, every nation is in acute pressure that they must develop the technology which is sustainable in nature. And even a country like India, where we see that when this COVID wave came, we don't even have the manufacturer, those who can develop the mask, the sanitizer. So these are the basically the opportunities came in the form of the ideas in the form of SDG or in the form of this COVID wave. We have to don't go in the panic while seeing this kind of pressure. We must understand that this pressure will come out with some kind of innovation, and that happened actually in this COVID wave. We will discuss in the later slides that how different products from the different corporations came out. And then so simply it is exploration and exploitation of opportunities for a new or improved product, process, or services based either on an advance in technical practice or change in market demand, or a combination of the two. The another example it came in my mind that we are actually seeing that during this COVID period, most of the trains were isolated. They were not running on the track, and then someone suggested that please make them the isolation rooms. And then government tried, and the government actually developed some trains in the isolation ward or isolation rooms. So this is how innovation works. So how differently you can think, how you can exploit and explore the opportunities, that is what we called as the innovation process. Now if we move further, we will say that it is basic differently, it is impossible of predicting accurately cost and performance of a new artifact, I mean the prototype. Sometimes we develop technology, but when we convert the technology or the innovation in products, it took a lot of time and cost. And that is why Indians organization, Indian institutions actually failed at this moment, because sometimes they have that conceptual technology, they have the research paper published in a very reputed articles, and it is talking about some sort of innovation and technological advancement. But when it comes to convert this particular concept or technology in a product, no corporate shows its interest to get this technology to convert it in a product. So this is how the innovation face a lot of challenges. Now if we define it in another way, those simply it's a new idea, or we can say the successful exploitation of new idea. So idea came in our mind, but it actually died in a week, because we don't have the technical know-how that how we can proceed with our idea, and how we can share our idea with the person who can develop this idea in a innovative product. So this is in short, we can say that innovation process defines the management of an idea from the strategic search to the successful market launch and its transfer to the operative management. Now we were talking about the innovation process and everything, but at last I will say innovation will consider as an innovation if it comes in form of a product, if it comes in a form of in a kind of services which actually help individuals, which actually helps the citizens of the country, which actually address a particular problem of the country which we are facing nowadays. Then we can say that it is an innovative technology, or it is a innovations. So this is what the process of innovation works. The production of scientific and technical knowledge. I mean, first we will see, or we will read, or we will publish a research article that this is basically the technology, and then we will transform this technology or this knowledge in terms of a product, I mean a prototype. And then to meet the market demand, if this particular technology or this particular product has certain kind of demand, then we will respond to the market. Now if we can relate it with this example of electric vehicles. Earlier it was just a kind of technical or scientific knowledge, and then someone or more organizations came in this field, and they developed the electric vehicle, or they had developed the battery which can help to run an electric vehicle for 500 mile. And then this basically is addressing the market demand, which is constantly rising, that because the petrol prices are rising, also because of the sustainability concern. So this is how the technology process works. Now I will move further, and we will discuss that the phase of innovation. So first it will the idea, and then we will convert this idea in a conceptual form. So sometime idea came in our mind, and then we analyze things, and then we convert a concept. It should be on paper. Idea may be in your mind, but concept should be on paper. And then there should be some things like how you will implement this idea, how will you market this idea, and then you will develop this a prototype, or we can say a product. And then to sell this product or to commercialize this innovations, you need a market, and then the marketing manager, the corporate guys, and the funds, the different corporate agencies involved here. So in the initial three things, I mean the idea, concept, and solution, higher education institutions can work, and for this market they can collaborate with the corporate entity. So our role is here the idea, concept, and solution part, and then the stakeholders role, I mean most of the students, they can work this idea, concept, and solution part, and then faculty member or the IIC members, they can collaborate with the this particular prototype and this the technological things to collaborate with some corporate guys, and the corporate will do this market part, and they will develop a product, and they will commercially launch the product. So our focus as a student, our focus should be here. Now we will move further, and we will discuss that what is TRL. TRL is basically if we explain it, is basically a technology readiness level, and it was developed by NASA in 1970s. So basically it assess and it measure the maturity of a technology, that how mature the technology is. I will discuss this with the help of an example. But TRL is now TRL, especially in terms of technological and innovation development, it is very important because it assess the level of technology. So it has 1 to 9 level, where I will discuss each level here. These are the 9 level. We'll discuss with the help of example. For example, the first level of TRL, it is basic principle object. For example, you are working in a lab, and you are actually conducting an experiment on it may be a chemical experiment, and you are using certain material, and you find that there is a unique material which may be a close substitute of synthetic rubber. This basically you just observed it while conducting an experiment in a chemical lab using a material, and then you observe that this particular material can be a close substitute of synthetic rubber. Now the level 2, that is technology and practical applications formulating. So what will you do? You will think that because this may be a close substitute of synthetic rubber, so whether this material can be used to build the tire. It is basically the level 2, and here you will write a concept, which I have told you earlier, that here you will write some concept that these are the basic characteristics of the material, and I observed that this material can be used and close substitute of synthetic rubber. So why not we can use this material to build a tire? This is basically your concept, and then you will move further. You will test this material, especially the strength and durability, because to make a tire, this material must have these two characteristics, that strength and durability. So in the same lab, you will test it whether the strength and durability of this material is feasible to make a tire. And then the level 4 came, technology validated in a lab. Here you will test the material to have characteristics to make a tire. Now you will say that in level 3 I have presented an empirical research paper in a scientific journal and said that in a lab of Prayagraj, I mean in your college lab, you find that this material has the strength and durability which is best suited to make a tire. But that is not enough. You will conduct some more experiment, because tire doesn't need only the strength and durability. It needs a life. I mean, it requires toughness. It requires the capacity to bear the heat, to capacity to bear the rainy seasons. I mean the wetness, and so many other things. So you will test the materials to have multiple characteristics which a tire have. Now in level 5, this technology will be validated in a relevant environment. I mean, you have to develop a prototype of a tire, and you should test it in your lab capacity. I mean, in the control environment. This is basically the TRS level 5. So if in level 6, we will mountain. I mean, we will use a rim, and then we will mountain this particular tire on a wheel, and we will test this wheel in a road on a road conditions. But these road conditions are built in our lab. So in lab, with certain control environment, we are actually testing the roughness of the road, and we will say that, जैसे कैसा बोलते हैं ना, उबड़ खाबड़ रोड पे चल पाएगा कि टायर नहीं चल पाएगा. So in controlled environment we will test this tire in the controlled environment. This will be comes under the level 6 of TRS. Then in level 7 we will test the tire on a vehicle at a road. Now there are certain, the testing road, or I mean they have certain tracks. In Indore also we have a track where these testing are being conducted, or you can, if you are interested, if you have a product or a prototype, you can test this product. So here also you will test your tire in a real environment. Earlier you were testing it in the controlled environment, now you will test it in a real environment, so it will be on a road. But these road also, these roads will be the specific road for the testing purpose. You cannot test it on a national highway. So they are some specific environment, but also some control are there. At least it is more than that control you have here in the lab, but in the real environment you have less control, and it is a real environment. After that, if it goes okay, you will move further. You will ask the certification organization, is certified the material for the tire and usually certified the tire quality, and they will issue a certification. And after that, this tire will be tested for the, I mean it is okay for the commercial purpose. You can launch this tire with the help of certain organization which is dealing the tire manufacturing, or which are dealing in the marketing of tires, and they can basically launch this product. 9+ is basically the more and more commercial launch. I mean, for that you will need some I mean you will address to another market. So after 9+, this product can be used for the purpose of real usage, for the purpose of consumer usage, for different market purposes. So this is how the TRL works. But here is an issue. The TRL is very good. I mean, from level 1, from level 9, we are seeing that how technology progressed, and how technology, what are the various levels of technology. We are seeing that this is a very shiny picture, and it is, how beautiful it is that we are actually observing a material, and then we are coming out with a product. This is how the books, this is how this slide is showing. But if I mean, in the real scenario, the picture is not that shiny. I mean, we are facing a lot of difficulties. What difficulties we are facing is that in India, universities along with the government funding sources focuses on TRL 1 to 4. Let's see, I mean, you can relate it with your real life also. Your university is saying, or your college is saying that yes, अच्छा बात है, तुमने एक practical कुछ observe किया, एक paper लिखो, पेपर को एम्पेरिकल टेस्ट करो, लैब के एनवायरनमेंट में टेस्ट करो, इसको एक अच्छे जर्नल में पब्लिश करो, दैट इज गुड. ठीक है, अब सारे कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हो गए, पेपर का और एडवांस वर्जन आ जाएगा, लेवल 1 to 4. एवरीबॉडी इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द लेवल 1 to 4. एंड व्हाट द कॉर्पोरेट इज सेइंग, दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट यस, हमारे पास टायर आना चाहिए. अगर रियल एनवायरनमेंट में सक्सेस है, सर्टिफिकेशन हो गया है, वी विल कमर्शियली लॉन्च इट. सो दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 7, 8, 9. Nobody is talking about 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7, nobody is talking about. University, government is talking about 1 to 4, and corporate is more interested in 7 to 8, and nobody is interested in 5 to 8. Sorry, 5 to 6, or 4, 5 to 6, 5, 6, 7. So this is how we can say that these stages, these this TRL 5, 6 is known as the valley of death. I mean, most of the innovation, most of the technology death in this particular range, because they don't get that collaborative effort, they don't get the organization which can commercialize their product. So every time when a science, I mean the science guys, or I mean the engineers, or the chemical engineer, the physicist, or there are so many researchers in the institutions. I am a management faculty, I don't know about the research, but there are biotechnology people, and there are the chemical science people, there are the physics people. They are working hard, and they sometimes work on a conceptual things, and on a conceptual note it sounds very good. But I asked a question, अरे इसका commercialization करो भाई किसी से. Then they said, university के level पे there is no infrastructure, there is no framework through which we can collaborate with the corporate to commercialize this technology. And this is how this innovation, this particular technological development remained as a paper article, and that is why government is very much tense. They are saying every year we are funding through DST, we are funding through CSIR to all these universities, and the independent grant also we are giving to the faculty members, but we are not getting the output. Why not? The indigenous products are coming out in the market. Why every time we are dependent on USA? Why every time, during this COVID kind of pandemic, we are importing from China? Even the small things like the sensor, I mean, we were oximeter, and even this thermometer we were importing from China. So this is our concern, and here, this valley of death, we have to fill this gap to come out with some innovative ideas to commercialize our technology in a real product. Now I will move further, that how we can do it, the commercialization of lab technology and tech transfer, how we can achieve these objectives. So for that, the process of transforming innovation from a laboratory or an IP funding firm from scientific research to market brings along numerous advantages. I mean, first we have to understand that how it can help us. So for that, there are so many things. This lecture is being attended by students from diverse background. You may from the law background, you may from the commerce background, you may from the science background and the art background. So there are students and they ask me, sir, हम तो science के हैं नहीं, हम ये कैसे कर सकते हैं? And for that I always told them, अरे कौन कह रहा है तुम साइंस के हो? तुम्हारे पास अगर बिजनेस का सेंस है, if you really want to solve or if you really want to resolve a problem of a common man for this country, if you really want to earn some money, if you really want to be a startup owner, if you really want to start your own business, then go to these laboratory and then collaborate with these laboratory, and with these laboratory you can get the technology, and for that technology you can commercialize your product and you can generate some revenue. So every time you don't need to be a scientist. So there are so many scientists in India and they are working hard to conceptualize a technology, to conceptualize a product. You just go and contact to these scientists and ask them that how they can help you to address a particular issue which you have identified as an individual, and then science will come. So I have mentioned here that the ongoing pandemic has brought along a sea of challenges, some of which have emerged as a great opportunity for institutions, pharmaceutical companies, research, and philosophers. And then we were facing a lot of challenges in terms of getting the PPE kit, the ventilator, the sanitizing equipment, drugs, vaccines, and immunity booster required to fight the pandemic. And in the meantime, we have also experienced that some IITs came out and they develop, they innovate some ventilators, and the very, in terms of the comparison of cost, these ventilators were, very less priced in terms of the importing ventilators. But we were facing a lot of difficulties. We tried to use these ventilators because this technology readiness level, they were not in that much maturity level. So that is why most of these ventilators failed in terms of real environment. And then people start criticizing that this is what Indians did, they don't even have it. But you just imagine that in such a short span of time you develop a ventilator which actually works, and in some cases it failed. But we were facing difficulties, and to address these difficulties and this situation should not be repeated in future, government is trying to come with some new technology and to commercialize the technology and then collaborate with corporates. So now we have two cases. The case one is basically the technology transfer between CSIR, IGIV, and Tata Sons. So Tata Sons is a corporate, and then CSIR is that scientific industrial research organization. It comes under the DST. So this particular institution, the IGIB, that is Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology, they developed a kit. This kit basically testing for this COVID-19 symptoms, and it's a very small and very compact kit. That today even you give sample and your report will come tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Sometime it took a week because we have limited resources in terms of testing this COVID positiveness. So this paper strip chemistry they have used, and they have used this CRISPR-Cas9 technology. I don't know about the biology that much, but I know this CRISPR-Cas9 technology is very innovative technology, and most of the countries are using this DNA-based technology. So they came out with the paper strip chemistry, and then this technology is being taken up by Tata Sons, and now they are commercializing it, and they will come out with a innovative product. So here you can see the real example how the lab-based technology is being transferred to a corporate. Now we have the another example. This is basically a CSIO, that is a Central Scientific Instruments Organization. It's a Chandigarh-based organization. This is also from the CSIR, and they develop this fine disinfectant droplets. So we see that during this COVID we have the sanitizer, and everybody is saying sanitize करके बैठना है, हर जगह sanitization, and then we have the sanitizer. तो अभी आप देखिए सैनिटाइजेशन का हमें पता नहीं चल रहा है कि कहाँ सैनिटाइज करना है, कहाँ नहीं करना है. सो इवन द ट्रेन सैनिटाइज होनी है, क्लासरूम्स में सैनिटाइजेशन होना है एवरी टाइम. So they develop a kind of this disinfectant instrument. It will take very less amount of the sanitizer or disinfectant, and it will identify the hidden targets, that where the virus is. So this technology is being taken care by the Right Water Solutions to commercialize at a large scale, and this technology is basically developed at a research institute, that is the CSIO at Chandigarh. Now if we will see that what are the basic challenges we are facing as an education institutions. So the first, very important, that financial restrictions. Every year we are sometime we send the proposal to the government that we are working on this particular project, and the required cost for this project will be around 1 crore. Government or the agency will sanction you rupees 50 lakh, and then you have to come close this project under this 50 lakh rupees. So this is the major important thing. If you will see, if you really want to go in the detail, just go and see that what amount our government is spending on research and development in terms of university education and university research centers are concerned. So every year they are reducing, except the DST and CSIR. Most of the institutions, they are facing a lot of challenges in terms of getting the financial grants. So every year researchers are trying. India में पैसा नहीं दे रहे, बाहर चलो, बाहर में research में बड़ा scope है. So same Indians, if they are joining the foreign institutions, if they are joining the MIT, they are joining the Stanford, they are doing miracles. But here in India, because of these difficulties, we are not doing anything. Next, adequate research and development infrastructure. That is also very true. Pooling of infrastructure is not there, except the IITs, AIMS, and ISC, and few central universities. We don't have that kind of research and development infrastructure. And here in India, the pooling things is also very poor. We have that long bureaucratic structure. Even if students wants to go and he want to test something in your lab, then you will say, you will ask him to go to that particular person, take an NOC, submit some amount, and then he will frustrated. He will go back to their to his or her institution, will say to his or her guide, sir, वहाँ तो बेकार हाल है, नहीं कर पाएंगे, रहने दीजिए, कोई और तरीका ढूंढते हैं. So this is how our bureaucratic culture in our universities. We are not opening our university for all the scientists, scientific communities. They are not collaborating, and they are not welcoming the other scientists also. The competition is also there. So this is very pathetic situation in terms of science and technological development in India is concerned. Now the commercialization opportunities, even if you have developed a technology, then you will wait to commercialize it, because a science man doesn't have that kind of skills which a management or a marketing person must have. So because your education, you have a scientific temperament, and if you have a scientific temperament, your work is in your lab. But what government or what other stakeholders are expecting, ठीक है भाई, science है, बना लिया तो क्या मतलब है, आपको commercialize करना है. And for that we need a person who can look after this technology, who can collaborate, who can help the scientists to collaborate with a commercial organization, with a corporate entity, so that this technology can be commercialized. So these opportunities are less, and very few institutions actually appoint someone to help the scientists to commercialize their technology. Also the industry models and industry expectation are different. In university, whatever projects we are conducting, whatever research we are conducting, are outdated in terms of industry expectations are concerned. Now I see that in terms of the research is concerned, even the computer science people, they are talking about the parallel computing and then the old models of computing, the algo based computing. But if we see the industry, they are talking about the analytics, they are talking about the big data, they are talking about the robotic computer vision, they are talking about the robotics. So this gap should be filled, and for that also we need the close collaboration with industries and institutions. If the academia and industry linkage will be strengthened, definitely this gap can be filled. Now the deficiency of resources I have already told, the funding issues I have already discussed. Now if we talk about the opportunities, yes, there are a random of number of opportunities, especially in the licensing opportunities. You can get the royalty if a scientist develop a technology, and this technology can be converted in a product or a prototype. You can license it and you can earn amount and the royalty. The recent case is from this Lucknow, and this CSI institution from in Lucknow. They have developed the very important product, sanitary napkins, and then they asked some NGO to commercialize this sanitary napkin, and this sanitary napkin is available at a very lower price. For further details, you can also Google it and then search it, that what kind of the commercialization process happened to provide this sanitary napkin at a very cheap prices in terms of the market. The available products are priced at. So now if we see the other opportunity, it is the protection of invention using intellectual property right. Yes, that is also very important. Most of the scientists don't know about the intellectual property and how to file the patent, how to file the copyright. So this is how, if you are actually focusing on the protection of intellectual property right, then the scientists will be motivated. They will say, yes, our institution is working well to protect our rights. They are promoting our knowledge. And then for long run, how many patents you have, your name will also be in that list, which I have shared you in the initial slides, that yes, only that IITs are there. Maybe in next couple of years your institution will also be in that list, because you will also file some more patent. Market opportunities and investing opportunities, if you have more and more patent in terms of the technological potential, it will show the technological and innovation potential of a country. Then the investor, the foreign investor, they will also be interested to invest in your economy, because they will say, yes, यहाँ के लोग तो बहुत minded लोग हैं, intellect लोग हैं, they have the technology, they are addressing some issues, so why not we are investing in their ideas. But because we don't have that that much patent or that much technological investments, so we face a lot of difficulties in terms of attracting the foreign investors. Now I told you that Canada, USA, Israel, they are in the list of Global Innovation Index. Where are we? We are at 46. So global recognition is very important. Every time, whenever you will visit USA, people will say, "Oh, you are coming from India." That is country where people are a different kind of image they have about India. However, it has been changed in the past decades, especially when we came up with some good startup, we came up with some good technology. We have that the aerospace missions kind of things. But yes, if you have more and more technology intensive institutions, your recognition will be improved. So these are the commercialization oppositions for university higher education. So I already told you that I am conducting this session, and you have been asked to conduct an expert talk on this topic, just because you are also in acute pressure every time politicians and the government is saying that please make your institution self-sustained. Please get please ask your faculty members to consult to offer consultancy. Please ask your faculty members to file some patent and get some grant from there also. So education has become a burden, especially on the government side. They want that every institution should be independent, and if to be independent, what we need is more and more technology should be patented and should be commercialized. Now if we see that policy, especially the commercializing policy and the university infrastructure, we can improve here, and then definitely the more and more output will come. Now I will move further. the possible options to overcome the issues of tech transfer and commercialization of technology. For that, I have already, I'm ahead of time. It is, I think, 3-4. Binda ma'am, is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Thank you. So now, if we talk about the possible option, then the first is this reformulating academic and industrial policies. Yes, every time, as a faculty member, as a researcher, you face a lot of difficulties. That, academia industry linkage is very poor. Rarely industrialists came in your campus and addressed you and talk about the industrial revolution and talked about the product which they need. And rarely a faculty members goes in a in a factory or meet with the corporate leaders. So if this is not happening, definitely, you will work in your own field, they will work in their own field, and there is no linkage, then definitely things will not improve. I mean, for that also we need, from the government end and from the institutions end also, we must invite the corporate leader, especially the top guys, those who have a vision, like the Ratan Tata, the Birlas, and then the startup guys like the Bansals, and the recently, this Agrawals from this, the Zomato guys and this Naika lady. All these persons should be invited in our campuses, and they will give us the idea that where we are, what we need in terms of technology, in terms of product development, and then this is how we can improve the academic and industrial linkage. Another important thing is that we must sensitize our students about this intellectual property rights, and we must motivate them that they should start practicing using the IP. I mean, someone has filed the patent, and if this patent is useful, if it can be commercialized, then our art graduate, our commerce graduate guys can take this technology and convert it in a product. This is how we can improve the entire scenario. The next is the introducing research resource for inventors. This is also very important. In India, we are lacking in terms of resource to perform the adequate research. There are two things. The first, the mentorship. The second is the infrastructure, like the machines, and then if the IIT, if they have the machines, and we are at Prayagraj, we have to travel to that IIT, or sometime to test a sample, we have to travel at least 500 kilometers and then taken some permissions, and then this makes us frustrated. So centralized facilities and the pooling facilities should be improved, so that the inventors will get motivated, and and they can easily conduct their research. And then the institute like CSR, ICAR, ICMR, IITs, they are actually proactively working on research institution, and government is trying to to inculcate the research environment in the colleges and universities. But every time I will say, this is not the fact, because sometimes the research institutions like the IITs and IITs and the ICMR, they have that much funding that they can conduct research, and they don't have that academic pressure. Their faculty members, they don't have that academic pressure. Yes, you have to take the 9 or 10 classes. After taking 3-4 classes, you will not get in the mood that you will conduct some research in the laboratory. So that message should be clearly there, and the government should understand that yes, there are the institution for the academic purpose, there are the institution for the research purpose. Even in the university also, they can divide the faculty in terms of research and academic, and this practice is being I think it is a part of new education policy, but it is being adopted by the European countries, and by in the USA also. They have the two cadre, the research cadre and the academic cadre. By doing this, we can motivate more and more research in our institution and in our colleges also. Now, if we talk about the creation of business presentation opportunities, yes, this is also very important. Sometimes the researcher has an idea about his or her research, but he or she don't know that how to promote this research. How to present this research. So this should also be improved. This should also need to address. And then the gap between laboratories and marketplace. This I have already told you in the initial slide, that this gap is basically the sometime we can say this is the valley of death. So this valley of death, from level 5 of TRS to level 9 of level 8 of TRS, it should also be filled. So that was all from my side. Thank you for listening this talk. I hope if you have any query, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an effortless articulation of today's topic. And now I would like to request our participant to raise their question, queries, and doubts. किसी भी स्टूडेंट्स का कोई सवाल हो तो वो पूछ सकता है.
एक्चुअली हमारे स्टूडेंट के लिए बड़ा टफ था नेहा, ये थोड़ा सा बिजनेस वाला था, तो हमारे स्टूडेंट तो तभी थोड़ा सा सर प्रोसेस होगा कि वो एक्चुअली क्या था. तो क्योंकि
मैडम अगर आप मेरे को पहले बताते तो प्रोबेबली मैं इसको ना बायलिंगुअल कर देता, बिकॉज मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि शायद
नेक्स्ट टाइम बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम हम लोग करवाते हैं, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम हम आपको बायलिंगुअल ही रखेंगे. इसीलिए मैंने बीच में आपको थोड़ा मैसेज कर दिया था, सर प्लीज बायलिंगुअल जाइए. क्योंकि सर ये टॉपिक ऐसा था कि नहीं सर, एक्चुअली टॉपिक ऐसा था कि बच्चों के लिए थोड़ा, हमारा जो एकेडमिक कॉलेज है तो कुछ थोड़ा लीक से हटके था, तो बच्चे थोड़ा समझ रहे थे. एनीवे सर, नेहा कैरी ऑन.
Okay, ma'am. Now I would like to request Dr. Vinita Misra to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Neha. I, Dr. Vinita Misra, on behalf of SSK Degree College, would like to extend my gratitude to Institution Innovation Council and initiative of MHRD. Today, we have been fortunate to have with us a renowned Dr. Anil Kashyap, Assistant Professor of Department of Business Management, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, Central University, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. Thank you, sir, for talking out time from your busy schedule to grace with the event, enlightening us with the knowledge on the topic process of innovation development in technology, readiness level, and commercialization of the lab technologies and the tech transfer. I am very grateful to our professor, Professor Lalima Singh, Professor of SSK Girls Degree College and President of ISC, for providing encouragement and support. I must also mention my deep sense of the appreciation for our Vice Principal, Dr. Neerja Sachdev, and our Vice President, Dr. Manjari Sukla ma'am, and Dr. Meenu Agarwal, NIRF and IPR Activity Coordinator, and Dr. Anuradha Singh, Convener and IIC member. Convener and all IIC members. Last but not the least, I would like to express my generous thanks to all my participants. Thank you to all. Thank you, my colleague, Dr. Neha Rai, especially.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Neha ji.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Sir, next time मिलते हैं.
पक्का. अभी नेक्स्ट टाइम आपको हिंदी में करवाना पड़ेगा, मुझे ऐसा लगता है.
नहीं सर, बाइलिंगुअल. नहीं सर, बाइलिंगुअल.
That will be also be that is also good. I mean, this I have actually I have delivered this talk in some engineering colleges recently.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, our college is mostly totally academic college.
Okay. That is why they are facing difficulties to relate it. But I mean, ठीक है. Let's see.
सर नेक्स्ट टाइम इनोवेशन सेल में सारे जितने सर टॉपिक है पूरी वो सारे एंटरप्रेन्योर को ही प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, तो सर नेक्स्ट टाइम हम आपको.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Students are requested to fill the feedback form. So now we close the meeting. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Neha.
Okay, ma'am.
चलो क्लोज कर दें.